Hey y'all. So we're back with another chapter out of the book of Proverbs. This is day 6, chapter 6. I'm at work, but you know what? No matter what goes on in life, we have to take some time out for God. So I'm gonna just go over chapter 6. I don't really have notes and stuff like that because I've been working all day. I'm doing a 16-hour shift. But I have had my AirPods in and I was just meditating on the word before I even made this video. This chapter 6 is broken down into 5 parts. The first part we're going to go over is verses 1 through 5. And this one is about a surety for a friend. So, I'm just going to tell you what that means. A surety for thy friend means to put up a security for someone else's loan. This is a foolish act that can be remended only by immediately pleading release by thy friend. So let's just go in it and then we'll go over it briefly. So verse 1, my son, if thy be surety for thy friend, if thy haste stricken by hand with a stranger, thou art snared with the words of thy mouth, thou art taken with the words of thy mouth. Do this now, my son, and deliver thyself when thou art come into the hand of thy friend. Go humble thyself and make sure thy friend. Give not sleep to thy eyes, nor slumber to thy eyelids. Deliver thyself as a roe for the hand of the hunter, as a bird from the hand of the fowler. So it sounds to me like this is basically like where God is warning us is that don't go putting up security. It can be your life, it can be your house, it can be your money, it can be any type of possession of any sort for a friend. He says right here it says this is in my study Bible, but it says this is a foolish act that can be remended only by immediately pleading release by the friend. And I guess that's from verse 3 where they get that from. So let me read verse 3. It says, do this now, my friend, and deliver thyself. So what they're saying is deliver yourself, like get yourself out of that mess, get yourself from being involved in that type of situation. And it's saying when thy art come, so when thy come into the hand of thy friend, go humble yourself and make sure thy friend. So it's saying go humble yourself, come to that friend and say, listen, I don't want to be involved with this mess. Please let me get up out of here. And that's exactly what that means. I understand it now. And then if you go to verse 4, right, it says, give not sleep to thy eyes, nor slumber to thy eyelids. Meaning God's probably saying, listen, don't you even go to sleep unless you get yourself out of that mess. Like, don't even close your eyes until you are out of that mess. So that, I think that is a message for somebody, because I know I'm the type of person where I always be trying to give my everything, clothes off my back to help people. I just have that heart, even when I don't be wanting to. When I be like, I remember at one point in time in my life, I was praying to God, like, God, why am I like this? Why do I always want to help people? Like, and then I always end up getting the bad end of the stick, or I always get walked over, used, talked about, all type of crazy stuff. And I remember, like, I had just went through something with some people that I helped, and I'm like, God, why am I like this? Like, please, I don't want to be like this. Like, and then that was years ago. But when I found God, I found why. This is how God made me, you know. Not everybody's going to be genuine like me. And that's something that I had to learn along my walk, is that, like, I have a real good heart of gold. And I always have, like, a soft spot for people. In my spirit, I've learned to, using my discerning spirit, is learn to know, you know, like, distinguish people, because there's some demonic people that try to come in my life and try to cause havoc, versus there's some people that genuinely is sent by God, and I'm here to help them. You know, that's very important too, because when you just out there and just getting yourself involved with all different type of people, you find yourself in mess. You find yourself in some mess. So yeah, let's keep going. So the next verses are 6 through 11, and this is going to be about consider the ways of the ant. Oh, I love this chapter. Now I know. Now I know this chapter. Remember, I told you I've been through the book of Proverbs 3 times, but I definitely love this when they talk about the ant. Let me keep going for y'all. So, verse 6 says, "Go to the ant, thy sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseers, or rulers, provides her meat in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out thy sleep? Yet a little sheep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one travels, and thy want as an armed man." So let me tell y'all what this is about. So God, what King Solomon is telling us is that, right, there's an ant and then there's a lazy person, right, which is called a slugger. That's what they call a slugger, a lazy person. And it's talking about how an ant is out working hard, and so it says in verse 8, provides her meat in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest, meaning this ant is working hard. Meanwhile, and then on the other hand, the sluggard person, which is verse 9, he's asking, how long will you sleep, O sluggard? What will thy, it says, when will thy rise out of thy sleep? Meanwhile, while the ant is harvesting and getting everything that the ant needs to survive, this other person here is just sleeping around. And you will notice that in the book of Proverbs, they always talk about like sluggard, lazy people. It's amazing, but let me go read off down here what my study Bible says about it. So it says the sluggard is a habitual lazy person. He is abomination to learn. He is an abomination. He is a Wait, hold on. Where am I? The sluggard is a habitual lazy person. He is admonished to learn two important lessons from the ant. So 1, the ant has no guide, overseer, or ruler, which is verse 7. So it says so it's talking about the ant. The ant has no guide, no overseer, no ruler. Meanwhile, the ant still doing what it has to do. Ain't nobody looking over the ant's shoulder telling the ant, hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that. It's like the ant knows, second nature. Hey, listen, I gotta eat, so I gotta get up and work. Hey, I gotta do this. I gotta do what I gotta do to survive. And it says, meaning that the ant does not have to have a task maker standing over it to make it work. It is a self-starter. Where are all my self-made people at? Where are all my ants at? And then it says, too, the ant is wise enough to prepare for predictable circumstances, which is in verse 8, where it says, provides her meat in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest. 2 questions about sleep are posed to the sluggard in verse 9. How long will I sleep, O sluggard? When will I arise out of thy sleep? His answer is given in verse 10. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands. I was just saying, give me some time, give me a minute. I get up. That's the answer. The answer is verse 9. So in verse 9, they ask, how long will you sleep? How long are you going to be here? How long are you going to be sitting around here, sleeping? And then the sluggard person, his answer is in verse 10. It says, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands. Just a little bit more sleep. The result of such laziness is dire poverty, which will come as suddenly and it says, hold on. Just a little more sleep. The result of a laziness is dire poverty, which will come suddenly as a robber. In verse 11, so it says, so shall the poverty come. So after he answered and said, just a little bit more sleep, in verse 11, here's like the response. So shall thy poverty come as one travels, and thy want as an armed man. So which mean is that, like, when you not doing what you have to do, like you sitting around sleeping, laziness, you know what they say, faith is dead without works. You gotta get up and work. Like, everybody think that God's just like some miracle God where he just gonna go and drop drop it all your hopes and dreams in your lap. That's not how it is. You have to go out and work. And that's why I love in the book of Proverbs how they always mention about the sluggard in the end, and tell you guys about how important it is to do what you have to do. Like, you know, like, God loves us, and yes, God will provide, and yes, he is good, but at the end of the day, we humans have to take responsibility too. You have, God granted you with the ability to walk, talk, and get up, and energy to go work and do what you have to do, just like this ant here. I love that those few verses in chapter 6. So now let's move on to the second part of chapter 6. And this part is from verses 12 to 15. And this is broken down as it said, wait, hold on. So let me finish making sure I got this. The result of laziness is dire poverty, which will come suddenly and deceitfully as a robber. That's verse 11. Okay, we went over that. So moving on now to the second part, which is the wicked devise mischief. So it's going to be verses 12 through 15. And this is, so let's read it. A naughty person, a wicked man, walks with a forward mouth. He winks with his eye, and speaks with his feet, and he teaches with his fingers. Forwardness is in his heart, and he deceives mischief continuous. He sows discord, therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall be broken without remedy. So let's read what this was about. The 7 things, right here. The wicked sorry. It's so, like, in my Bible, everything is like, all the words are like scrunched all together. So excuse me. So this one is, the wicked person winks his eye, and so on. It must be understood that the evil man is winking, shuffling his feet, and pointing with his fingers for evil purposes. Forwardness refers to moral perversity, and that's verse 14. So that's what that was mostly about, telling us, like, you know, how wicked the evil man winks his eye and shuffles his feet and points his fingers for evil purposes. And the word forwardness in verse 14 refers to moral perversity. So now moving on to the third part. Fourth part. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth part, it says 7 abominations the Lord's hate. I love this part. I love this part right here. This right here just lets you know what not to do. Here comes understanding. Remember, we talked about since we started the book of Proverbs, it keeps talking about instruction, wisdom, and understanding. And remember, understanding is knowing what and what not to do, wrong from right, fake from real, what to waste your time on, what to engage in, and things like that. And this right here is part of understanding. And this is definitely some instructions too, because it tells you what not to do, what God hates. So here we go. This is from verses 16 through 19. So the 6 things the 6 things do the Lord hate. Yeah, 7 are, why did I say, wait, hold on. Because right here, 16, it says, I don't know if y'all Bible, I'm reading out of the King James Bible, but it starts here, it says, these 6 things do the Lord hate. Yeah, yeah, seven are an abomination to him. Oh, so six he hate, but seven is abomination to him. Okay, I understand now. Let's keep going. 17, a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, murderers, and heart that devise wicked imaginations, feet that shuffle in running to mischief, like running to evil, people who run to do bad, and a false witness that speaks lies, and he that sows discord among brother. Let me write those down. Y'all better write them down. So that's one, a proud look. That's kind of like those people who got like ego, proud people. You know, when they walk in a room like, I'm the stuff. Like, you know, that's what I get. Like, when I think of like a proud look, like people who are boastful and stuff like that. So the second one is a lion tongue. A lion tongue. The third one is hands that shed innocent blood. That's a murderer. And 4 is in heart that devise. Ooh, a heart. I hate when I make a mistake. A heart that defies wicked imaginations. So you know what I think this means? Like people who in their head, they be like thinking of bad things to do in their mind. And it's so crazy because in the Bible, plenty of times God talks about how like because some people think like you have to literally and physically do something for it to be like a sin or for it to be bad. Excuse me. I just did a 16-hour shift. I'm tired. But people think that they have to physically do something or say something for God to go against God. But it's so crazy because God knows what's in your heart and what's in your mind. And this right here just goes to show you when he talk about wicked imaginations. So that clearly just shows you that God knows what's in your head too. You ain't gotta talk. You ain't gotta do nothing. God knows everything. And that's, oh, he's such a good God. Let's keep going. Number 5 is feet that be swift in running to mischief. Mischief is like bad. Excuse me. That's kind of like those people who, like, all right, the first thing that came to my mind was, like, say there's a group of people or whatever, or there's somebody, and, sorry, y'all, I'm tired. And somebody, like, say there's, like, something going on, like, commotion, somebody about to fight. And, you know, it's always that one person that's go, what's going on? What's going on? That's what I get when I hear God say feet that are swift and running to mischief, like running to do bad, running to gossip, running to steal, kill, destroy. It ain't even gotta be just to go be nosy, but people who be like say that some dudes is there or women, whoever, and let's go catch a lick. Oh, I'm coming, jumping in the car. Like, that's still running to mischief. Like, that's still running to bad. Oh, hey, we about to go steal something from the store. I'm coming. Like, you know, feet to, that's what I get from it. I don't know. Y'all drop down in the comments what y'all think. And then there is number 6, and that is a false witness that speaks lies. That's actually commandment number 9. And then there's 7. Here's 7. And it's he that sows discord among brethren. Oh, just let's stop here for a second and talk about that one before I read the description down below. Listen, that is like messy people. That's basically like number 7, he that sows discord among brothers. That is messy people. That's people who like, drop down in the comment if y'all can relate, or even just put down your own thoughts. But like, you know, them type of people where they come into people's lives, relationships, homes, it doesn't even matter, and then they starting trouble amongst friends. They see two people are okay, let's just say, this is just an example. Say there's two women here and they've been friends 25 years, whatever. They have a good relationship, communication, they trust each other, they just really close. And here come this new friend they just met, let's say at the gym, and now all of a sudden they invite her into their friendship, and she's jealous. Why? Because she ain't never had that. She ain't never had that type of relationship. She ain't never had that type of trust. She ain't never had that type of love, that genuine friendship. She's never experienced that. So here she comes, starts causing havoc amongst these two women that's been friends for decades. That is what I get by he that sows discord among brothers. Here's two sisters that love each other, always was able to see eye to eye, and if they didn't see eye to eye, they was able to work it out, talk it out. You know how you got that one friend that's gonna tell you what it is, but at the end of the day, you ain't gonna take it too personal because you know where she coming from. She's a genuine person. That is what I'm talking about. And there's some wicked people out there. That's a word for somebody. That is a word right there for somebody. Be careful of who you allow in your circle. Be careful, because people right here will come and try to cause mischief. They will try to cause bad and evil, because you know they come from Satan. They possessed by demonic spirits, and they come to kill, steal, and destroy. And some people be having envy in their heart, and they can see you have a good friendship and understanding with you and your friend, and they try to come and try to cause havoc amongst y'all two. Why? Misery loves company. That's a word for somebody right there. That is the word for somebody. Watch who you entertain. Honey, you're gonna get tired of keep going to the circus with these clowns. But I gotta hurry up, y'all. So I would love to keep going, but yeah, no, I'm at work. So let's go over right here where it breaks it down more. It says the 7 things the Lord hates are listed. The first 5 being described poetically under parts of the body associated with a particular sin. 1, a proud look. Proud, and then it says number 2, a lying tongue. 3, hands that shed innocent blood. 4, a heart that devise wicked imagination. 5, feet that swift to running to mischief. 6, a false witness. And 7, he that sows discord among brethren. It is clear that the last 2 items in the list that God is describing people whom he hates. The word hate is describing people whom he see why I tell you it's so scrunched up. The word hate should not be taken in an absolute sense. However, because it means to reject from one's fellowship, these are the kinds of people whom God reject. Yes, I want y'all to go and meditate on that. Go and meditate on that tonight before you go to bed, while you sleeping, whatever. Meditate on that. I'm going to go back and meditate on that as I finish up my shift. All right, so we're going to go to the last part here, and it's keep father's commandments, and this is going to be verses 20 through 35, so it's 15 of them. All right, let's go. My son, keep thy father commandments, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Bind them continually upon thy heart, and tie them about thy neck. When thou goest, it shall lead thy. When thou sleep, it shall keep thy, and when thou awake, it shall talk with thy. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproof of instruction are the way of life. To keep from the evil woman, from the flattering of the tongue of a strange woman. Stop right there. Where's all my people that been with me since chapter 1? Where's all my people that been with me since chapter 1? Okay, so yesterday we did chapter 5. I spent at least 20 minutes backing it up with scripture about how God keeps warning us about this strange woman. And because, the time and back then in that era, is you see it say strange woman, but we living in a day age where strange women and men. So when you hear it talk about the women, refer also to strange men, because they can come in the same manner. But here it go again. Pay attention. 24, to keep thy from the evil woman, from the flattering of her tongue of a strange woman. They keep talking about the flattering of her tongue. I kept telling y'all, God warned us. See, God didn't say, oh, she coming with a Lamborghini. She gonna pull up looking good, smelling good. Got a bag, got a BBL. He keep warning us about the way they talk. The way they talk. And now I'm going to, I love backing it up with scripture. Y'all done woke me up. Now I feel a little, I'm awake right now. So here we go again. And that is in, go to chapter 5, verses 1 through 6, is the temptation of a strange woman. All right, once again. And then also, to keep backing it up, is in chapter 2. In chapter 2, let me go back. Let me just go right. It'll be quicker for me to look in the Bible. So here's chapter 2, and let me see where it talk about her again. Where it talk about the same woman, y'all. The same. Chapter 2, verse 16. It keep warning you about her mouth and the flattering words that come out her mouth, because that's how it gets you. It never says she's going to get you by buying you. It never says she's going to get you because of what she has. It never says it keep on saying over and over and over, be careful of these people and the things that come out their mouth. They go gravitate to you just by the words of their mouth. It keep using words like flattering, pleasant. Go back and read it. I done came to y'all. Start with chapter 2, verse 16. The second one is chapter 5, verses 1 through 6. Now we in chapter 6, and it's talking about her again in her mouth in chapter 24 and chapter 6. That's 3 times. It's 31 chapters in this book, and already God keep repeating. God gotta take heed. He keep repeating about this strange woman, these strange people, and how they come into your life, and that it's the way they talk. It's the way they talk. And remember, I kept telling y'all, when they come, right, they're going to come at the right time. Because he was saying this, he's going to come when you at your lowest. He's going to come when you at your lowest, because when they come, they're going to be saying everything you want to hear. And remember, when you go back, right, in chapter 5, start from verse 1, and I think it goes down, keep going, because it talks about that do not go. God instructs us, please stay away from her, because her path leads to death. Her house leads to the hell. And then he says, when you get, this is all in chapter 5, right? All in chapter 5. Then he says, when you get there, right, she's going to take you for everything. Your wealth, your honor, your labor, Every single thing. And then it talks about, even after that, it goes and talk about how the person, once they do fall into the trap of this woman, they always say, dang, I wish I would have took your instruction. Dang, I wish I would have listened. Dang. Man, y'all gotta go back and read it. Please, chapter 5, start with verse 1. The strange woman. Go back. Please, please, please. I'm begging y'all. I don't even know y'all from a hole in the wall. Please go read this. This is for somebody. This will save somebody's life, because you are going to find yourself somewhere at the wrong place at the wrong time, and you're going to be sitting at the table with this type of person, and you ain't even going to know it. Why? Because you lack the wisdom. You have to go back and study this. So when that person do come, immediately, back up. I already know about you. I already read about you. You better back up, Satan. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, because I know who sent you. Please go back to your maker. Yeah, that's how we gotta do them. All right, I gotta hurry up. I'm at work. All right. So 24, to keep thy from the evil woman, from the flattering of the tongue of a strange woman. 25, lust not after her beauty. Lust not after her beauty. Them fake BBLs, eyelashes, boobs, injections. What's that other one they put in the face? Botox, lace fronts. Do not lust after her beauty. We are living in a day and age that women are literally selling their souls just to change their body to be appealing. Instead of going out and getting an education and getting your own bag, they rather go take the little money they do have, invest it in their body to get a man with a bag. And that's why a lot of these men are falling into traps, because why? They see these women with all these lustful bodies and everything, and they falling into these traps. It says right here, lust not after her beauty in thy heart, neither let her take thy with thy eyelids. That ain't the first time God warned us that she'll get you with your mouth and just by winking her eye. Man, this must be a bad mamma jamma. Because God never once, the first time he's even mentioned about her beauty. Because in the last chapters, if you go back and read, he just talks about her mouth and winking her in her eyes. Now he's describing her a little bit more, that she's beautiful. Y'all pay attention. 26, for by means of a whorish, look, God, dang, he just reading her at this point. He said, for by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread. She a whore. He done already told you she a whore, and she gonna get you, bringing you to a little piece of bread, bribing you. Okay, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life, meaning they out here head hunting for y'all. They already got their prey. They already know who they want. Take heed. All right. 27. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burnt? Take a second and think about what that means. It says, we reading from verse 27. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burnt? Meaning, you over there messing with this woman, right? After God clearly done told you in several chapters about her, how she coming, how she walk, how she talk, everything that comes with her, and you thinking that you can play with fire and you think you ain't gonna get burned? God is clearly telling you she fire. He done even said her house leads to hell. And you think you ain't gonna get burnt? God even said, and I think it was in chapter 5, I don't know, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. He even said that she's gonna come with diseases. Man, let's keep going. 28. Can one go onto her hot coals and his feet not be burned? So he that goes into his neighbor's wife, ooh, who's ever touched her shall not be innocent. So now it's talking about you going there creeping with somebody else's woman or somebody else's man. So it says, so who goes into his neighbor's wife, who's ever touched her or him shall not be innocent. 30. Men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. Meaning that, so if you decide to go right and God is comparing somebody from stealing somebody's wife or husband versus going to steal some food. So he's saying, it is not so bad if you went to go steal some food because you're hungry. They can overlook that part. But when you decide to go and steal somebody's spouse, husband or wife, oh no, they can't look past that. Let me continue so y'all can see what he said. Verse 31. But he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. So he's saying that when you get caught stealing because you're hungry, they'll allow you to pay it back sevenfold. You understand? You have to pay that back. They can look over and they ain't gonna kill you. You understand? But they're gonna want their bread back. All right. So verse 32. But whomsoever commits adultery. Now, I let you steal some sugar and some flour and some oil, and I allow you to pay me back when you got your food stamps. But hold up, now you don't went and touch my husband. You don't went and touch my wife. Oh, okay. But whosoever commits adultery with a woman lacking understanding, it destroys his own soul. God said you can't pay this back. Ain't nowhere in here say. So he said you steal some food. We can overlook that, and you go and pay us back when you get your check, or when you get some food stamps, or whatever. But when you go and touch somebody else's spouse, that's almost like killing your soul. It says right here, he destroys his own soul. All right, 33. A wound and dishonor shall beget, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. Meaning, what you did, you can't take that back. You can't wipe that away. Verse 34. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. See, you see how in verse 30 God tells us he gave a little bit of remorse and mercy for the hungry man who stole food. Now, when you went and touched his wife, he says a man who finds out that somebody's touching his wife, he said, for jealousy is the rage of a man. Jealousy is the rage of a man. All right, so remember I told you I've been through this book a few times. So, and like, I don't know if it's 25, 24, but God goes and talks about, he said a man that is angry is bad. He said a man that is angry is bad. He said, but a jealous person, he says, like 10 times worse. So I never forget that verse. That's crazy, because growing up I used to always say, like, yo, jealousy is serious. Like, jealousy is almost like a drug. Like, I don't want to say it. I remember I wrote that on a shirt years ago when I was in high school. But jealousy is like it's something serious. Like, it's different when somebody says, I don't like her, and mad at you. But when somebody jealous and envious of you, yo, it's bad. Because 9 times out of 10, they usually close to you and they wait until they find you vulnerable, and that's when they get you. It's scary, yo. It's scary because they look at you from a whole nother look. Like, when they see you, they see something different. Like, it's real scary. But anyway, 35. He will not regard any ransom, meaning you can't come with no money and talk about some, oh please take this, like the hungry man, where he said you come back sevenfold and he forgave him. But when you mess with that man's wife, you can't pay no ransom. Neither will he rest content, meaning that he ain't gonna be content. He gonna be pissed. He ain't gonna stop until he get it back in blood. God said you destroy your soul when you decide to do that. Through thy giveth many gifts, meaning that he's not gonna be content with no gifts. He's not gonna be content with no ransom, no money. There's nothing you can do to make this angry husband relax and forgive you and forget it. There's nothing. That right there, I know there's gonna be a few people that's watching, that's gonna be reading this and watching this video like, I know so and so. Yeah. Let me tell you something. One thing I love about the book of Proverbs, that's why I'm probably gonna read this book 100 times, 1,000 times, who knows, before I die, because when I tell you, like, it's almost like God is speaking in today's time, because everything he talks about goes on every day. Goes, like, we living in this time, like, even like when he talk about like how, like, in chapter 1, when he was talking about like the people that sit and wait, lurking for innocent blood, how they can't sleep, they can't eat, they can't do nothing unless they commit a crime, unless they do violence, unless they hurt people, how they sit and they tell people, come on, let's go rob somebody. Like, we living in a day and age where nobody wants to work. They want the easy way out. People will kill you, girl. People will kill you for your drawers. For your drawers. I would never forget, there was this girl back home. She was at, I only reason I remember because me and her had the same name. And she was at a house party, and she was just standing in front of the window in a house party, and I guess the person who was throwing a house party had just robbed somebody else for a TV. Mind you, this was like 15 years ago or something. It was a long time ago. I just can't, like, I just couldn't fathom it back then, and that's why it just stuck with me, because I couldn't believe he did this. So they stole the man's TV. The man comes back later on that night. Mind you, these people are having a party now. Probably with the TV. That ain't funny, but probably with the TV. This man stands in front of the house with a shotgun. Mind you, the windows down, the blinds down. Blindly just shoots up the house, and this innocent girl gets killed over a TV. Over a TV. And I know somebody probably leave in a comment some of this wicked stuff, these people who's possessed with these demonic spirits, how low they will go. I want to hear some stories, because I know there's somebody out there probably say, I know somebody killed somebody for 50 cents. Because that's the time we are living in. People do not value lives. People do not value family, children, like even kids. These innocent kids is becoming like they becoming like what do they call it? Calamity? No, I forgot the word. I'm tired, y'all. I'm so tired, but I had to come up here and do it. But I'm looking for the word. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. Especially out there in Chicago, all them young boys out there shooting and killing each other over blocks. They mama don't even own a house in. And then they hitting these kids. I would never forget, I seen a story about this girl. She was driving down the road. She wasn't even one of them ones that be out there hanging with them. She was just driving down the street, and she had her like baby in the car. I think the baby was like anywhere from 1 month to 6 months old. And they started shooting, and the bullet went and hit the baby in the. I couldn't, because I got my little 7-month-old baby, and my 2-year-old daughter, 3-year-old now, that be in the back. I couldn't even imagine that. Can you imagine? She probably driving and get away and then stop looking at, Jesus, please take the wheel. Like they is, and I bet you, what was they shooting over? A song? You mentioned my dead homie in a song. You said you was smoking my homie in a pack. And so I'm about to go over here and kill an innocent 6-month-old child, shooting all wildly. Granted, I know he didn't say, "Oh, I want to intentionally kill the child." But when you shooting like that in broad daylight with innocent people on the road, in the streets, on the sidewalk, what do you expect? What do you expect? Like, ugh, it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And in this book, God just keeps talking about these type of people. Talk about how they can't sleep, eat, nothing unless they commit crimes. Like, they love it. They love killing people. They love stealing. They love destroying. And we living in that day and age where it is true. People love to break people down. You know what? I hate to bring this up, but Wendy Williams, I remember when Wendy Williams was on, was it Hot 97.1? I'm tired, but she started off on a radio station, and she blew up, got her own show and stuff, and she got that off of tearing people down and gossiping. And then the other day, I just have, because I've been hearing about her like mentally declining and things like that and all this stuff. And then before the mentally declining, her the cocaine use and husband cheating with some young girl, got the young girl pregnant. They out here spending up her money, and she out here talking about everybody need a mama. But anyway, the moral of the story is that she did all that in her lifetime to get where she is. And you're going to read, as we keep going, there's a chapter in this book that talks about people who gain wealth off of tearing people down, off the robbing the poor, and all. You're gonna hear God talk about this. But it's so crazy because I seen a video of her, and it was like she was like a robot. Like, she had no function in her brain at all. There's no way they're having a full adult conversation with this woman when her mindset is like that. There's no way they can. But it's so crazy because she spent her whole life tearing people down, and she's gone. She ain't got her husband. She don't got her mind. She don't got her business. You got people probably who's in control of her money, probably robbing her. I don't know. But it's so crazy how you do anything to get here just to go down. And that brings me to where Jesus talks about in the book of Matthew. He says, those who exalt themselves will be humbled. So when you go over here and you do anything to put yourself here, give yourself that 15 minutes of fame, get yourself that clout, y'all like to say, and put yourself up here so you can be seen and heard and be that girl, God will come and humble you. And those who humble themselves will be exalted. And that's crazy what happened to that woman. That is sad. I seen a video of her, and I was sitting here thinking like, wow, girl, you was better off just sitting at home and praying and asking God to find you your purpose. Because that gossiping and all that stuff and all that, yeah, granted, she may have had this and she may have had that. Ooh, in the book, I think it was what it's when God talks about do not sit there and covet on people. Some people, I wish I had this and I wish I had that. I think, I don't know if I was talking about this in chapter, I think it was chapter 2, where you got to be careful when you be saying you wish and that, because not everything that glitters gold, and you don't know what people had to do to get where they are. Granted, you might see them with a big old house and all this money and jewelry and this and flying here and there, private jet, and meanwhile you trying to get a meal on your table. But please humble yourself and pray, and you ask God for whatever it is you need, because let me tell you something, some people do not get their blessings from God. Not everything that you see comes from God. You remember when Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, what he was offering Jesus, oh, I'll give you this, I'll make you ruler over that. So remember, Satan could give you stuff too. So be careful. But it's sad that woman like that, she tore all those people down and then turned around and got herself tore down. She can't even function. She can't even have a conversation. It's like she got dementia. I don't know, y'all. But anyway, let me just go over this briefly, just go over these verses. So verses 20 to 35, a third warning against adultery. 6 through 20, chapter 6 verse 21, thine heart better mind. Remember when we were talking about in chapter 5, when it mentions heart, and he was saying back then Hebrews never had a separate word for heart and mind, so heart and mind kind of go hand in hand. So when you hear heart, it's kind of like mind, and when you hear mind, it's kind of like heart. The first thing to protect against adultery is not the body but the mind. Remember when we was talking about here, when we were talking about yesterday in chapter 5, how when Satan comes, right, he don't come for your car, he don't come for your house, he don't come for all those things that you think he coming for, honey. He comes for your mind, because if he can change your mind, he can ultimately change you. Changing your mind is changing your heart. And so that's what they're saying here, is adultery is not, it says protect against adultery is not the body but the mind. Because when these women or men, it doesn't always have to be men doing it, women too, when you see this nice looking person and you going through stuff with your husband, and then it's like, oh, this person came at the right time, right moment, they looking good, they smelling good, they saying everything I want to hear, they holding me how I want them to hold me, and they looking how I want them to look. At the end of the day, you got to have your mind right and know that this is wrong. This is not of God. And that's exactly what they're saying here, is that the way against adultery is your mind. And what do? You feed your mind this, God's law. You feed your mind God's word. Because once you learn God's word, you learn that ain't right. I can't do that. That ain't right. Because Satan will try to come in your mind and be like, go ahead and do it. Ooh, and he looking good, and he smelling good. Ooh, and he saying the right words I want to hear. Go ahead. But you have to ultimately rebuke that. And that's why I be telling y'all about fasting. Because when you fast, it strengthens your spirit and weakens your flesh. Our flesh is so, like, listen, your flesh will have you doing some crazy things. That's why fasting is so important. And like I said, I know fasting can be hard, but take it slow. Start out fasting for 24 hours. You got to crawl before you walk. But start somewhere, and you have to weaken your flesh and strengthen your spirit. Because when you feed and then while you fasting, you have to feed your spirit. You need to be reading the Bible. Even if you come back here to my channel and just do a word a day and then meditate on that word while you fasting. Whatever it is you want to do, open up the Bible, just make it fall open and read from there every day while you're doing your fast. You have to strengthen your spirit, and you strengthen your spirit through fasting, because that's like submitting to God. But also during that fast, you have to do the work. And that's, remember, I keep telling y'all, faith without works is dead. And how do you work? Fasting, prayer, meditation. That's all works. That is all works. So let me keep going. This is the last part. So chapter 6, verse 27 through 35. Two comparisons are used to demonstrate the folly of adultery. 1, just as fire burns clothes and coal burn feet, so adultery evidently brings punishment. So remember we were talking about right here in verses 28, when it says, can one go onto hot coal and his feet not burn? And then into 27, can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not burn? So what they're saying is that when they were talking about that, basically that means is that, like, that's like the punishment. Remember when I was saying, like, you think you're going to be playing with fire and you don't get burnt? After God keep warning you about this woman, and then you go against God's word and his instructions, and you go down this path with this woman, this is the punishment. You're going to get burned. And then in chapter 5, was it chapter 5? Yeah, chapter 5. Yep, chapter 5, verses 1 through 6 is a temptation. Verses 7 through 8 is God's instruction telling you not to do it. And verses 9 through 14 is the price of disobedience. And so you need to go read that. And that's part of, like, the punishment. If you go back to chapter 5, verses 9 through 14, that's what happens when you go and you start dealing with these type of people that God keeps warning us over and over and over throughout this whole entire book to stay away from them. All right. A punishment for adultery is unending in a sense, meaning it's unending, meaning that you just gonna go through it. A thief may satisfy his victim with an appropriate payment. Oh, remember we were talking about the man who stole the food and how you can just pay back sevenfold when you get your check. So that's what it says here. A thief may satisfy his victim, the person he stole from, with an appropriate payment. It says, but an offended husband cannot be brought off. That's what we talked about. So I'm gonna close this off because it's almost about to be an hour and I need to go back on the floor to finish up my shift. But I want to tell you guys I love y'all. I'll be back tomorrow with another one. Please meditate on this word. Please spread the word. Ask God for clarity. Ask God for wisdom. Don't go off of what I said. Please go back and do your own reading. It is so important. Don't just listen to what other people say. You have to do your own reading. You have to do your own works, because faith without works is dead. Yes, I love y'all. I gotta go. I'll see y'all back tomorrow with chapter 7 and day 7. Chapter 7 isn't that long. It's actually broken down into 2 parts, so we'll get through it, and I'll actually try to go through it and do my studying beforehand, so it's not all everywhere. I apologize, y'all, if I was stuttering or whatever. I am tired. I just did a 16-hour shift and I gotta be back here in the mornings, so I'm exhausted. I love y'all. Praises to the Most High.